Hey, Daryl here. This is my daily devotional. In Egypt, the Hebrew people were growing greatly. God promised Abraham, "Out of you I will make a great nation." And he continued that promise through Isaac and through Jacob. And now, through the famine, God uses Joseph to save Egypt and the Hebrews. And now, time has passed. A new Pharaoh comes. They don't remember what Joseph did for them in saving in the famine. And so, out of fear, because they were becoming outnumbered, the Egyptians enslave the Hebrews. And now, they force them to hard labor. But even in the hard labor, their numbers continue to grow. So Pharaoh says, "We're going to do something drastic." And he calls the midwives of the Hebrews and says, "If it's going to be a boy, kill the baby. Let the girls live." Listen as I read here in Exodus chapter 1, beginning at verse 15. The king said to the Hebrew midwives, "When you help the Hebrew women in childbirth and observe them on the delivery stool, if it is a boy, kill him. But if it's a girl, let her live." The midwives, however, feared God and did not do what the king of Egypt had told them to do, and let the boys live. Then the king of Egypt summoned the midwives and asked them, "Why have you done this? Why have you let the boys live?" The midwives answered Pharaoh, "Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women. They are vigorous and give birth before the midwives arrive." So God was kind to the midwives, and the people increased and became even more numerous. And because the midwives feared God, he gave them families of their own. Then, verse 22, Pharaoh gave this order to all his people: "Every boy that is born you must throw into the Nile, but let the girls live." Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, ordered the midwives to perform, you ready? Late-term abortions. That's right. You realize in the birth process, unless it's a breech birth, the boy's head comes out, his shoulders come out. All of this has to come out before they can recognize if it's a boy or a girl. And he was suggesting that at this point, kill the boys, but let the girls live. Man, it has been suggested even in our culture, even in the year of 2019, that this barbaric act would be okay by many. We call partial birth abortion, where they would bring out the head of the child and then they would pith the child. That's a term that I used, was taught in biology class in high school, where you would pith the frog, where you would take that needle and you would place it down the spine of the frog before you would open the frog up to dissect it. In essence, that's what partial birth abortion is. That head of the baby would come out and they would kill the baby. How barbaric! You might expect such out of a culture that's ancient, such as the Egyptian culture. But how could you ever expect such barbarianism to take place in a culture as ours that's modern in the year of 2019? Yet it's been suggested by many. But the midwives, you see, they refused to do it, even though it says they probably lied to Pharaoh and said, "Well, the midwives answered Pharaoh, the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women. They are vigorous and gave birth before the midwives arrived." But God honored what they had said, and God honored that they allowed the boys to continue to be born, and then allowed the midwives, it says, families of their own. But then Pharaoh made another decree. It's going to be even a later abortion. Now, all those boys that have been born, throw them into the Nile. Listen, you wouldn't expect barbarianism such as this to take place in a culture such as ours. But friends, we are a clock tick away from that happening right here. Man, stand for the sanctity of life. All births are precious. God bless you. Good day.